That looks good.
It's so refreshing.
Man, you monster. You didn't peel the little thing back before sipping. You sipped over the... You sipped over the...
It was overflowing. Now it's back.
Absolute monster.
Yeah, I just want a little metallic in my mouth.
Oh, crazy.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. Man, I could go for... Actually...
Go get one.
Do you want to know why? I think I just realized it. Well, no. Actually, I'm about...
You're about to concede an argument here, I can tell.
No, actually,
it rip.
no, I actually won this one. I'm thinking about our taste test. No, it wasn't an argument with you. Oh. The reason I like Diet Coke over Coke Zero.
Oh yeah.
Is Coke Zero has stevia in it, and I don't like stevia.
Coke Zero does, or Diet Coke does?
Coke Zero does, and Diet Coke doesn't. It's got like stevia extract or something.
Okay.
And for some reason, I can always taste. Okay, I'm not going to say always.
Stevia extract. Wow.
I'm not going to say always because I know you're going to like taste test me with like this thing has a little bit of stevia. I got my Diet Coke right though. But yeah, I can always taste stevia sweetened stuff. It's just like a weird aftertaste. But I do enjoy a good Coke Zero. But I think that's why I like Diet Coke better.
I like Diet Coke better too.
Why are you always drinking Coke Zero then?
Because it's zero.
That makes no sense. What do you mean?
I don't know why. I believe Diet Coke makes you fat. I don't know why I believe that.
Do you want me?
I just believe that.
How do you? That's fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can believe that.
I just feel like, yeah.
You'd be wrong.
I just feel like, I think that's how I was raised. My grandma died of diabetes, and she always had a big gulp Diet Coke every single day. And my mom always blamed that.
The Diet Coke.
I know it's not true.
Yeah.
But I just like always, I don't know. I never see like fit people drinking Diet Coke.
Really? I drink Diet Coke.
Yeah. I guess you. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like I see a good amount of Diet Coke.
I think Diet Coke just tastes better to me. And so in my mind, it's not like truly zero. The way like this, I think this just tastes like water with like a little bit of Coke seasoning. And it's way more bland. Like the taste test, I was waiting till we did a taste test, you guys. Coke Zero, Diet Coke, and Pepsi. And I knew the Coke Zero because it was the worst one.
I feel like it tastes very similar.
You're not a soda guy. You know nothing of what I go through. No, I agree this is the worst. I just think I like everything's a zero except for sodium.
Well, so is Diet Coke.
They're different.
I heard, okay, I don't know if this is right, but I heard that Coke Zero was just made as a marketing ploy to get guys to drink more Diet Coke. Because Diet Coke's always been seen as like a little girly, a little feminine, I think.
That might be also why I hate Diet Coke.
Maybe.
It's kind of the Utah girly drink.
Definitely a heavy Utah girly
I don't want to be like a mom.
But I know, and that's the thing. That's why I heard it's just more of a marketing thing to make dude, like your can literally says dude on it.
Okay, there's more sodium in Diet Coke.
Okay. So maybe that's a little more, I don't know.
That's the only difference that I'm seeing.
And there are a couple of ingredients that are different, like the stevia extract or whatever, less than 1%.
Yeah, it's like 50% more sodium.
In Diet Coke?
Okay, if something is, for easy math, 10 and then 15, is 15 50% more or 150% more?
Wait, what do you mean 10, 15?
Like just taking those two numbers, 10, 15. Is 15 50% more than 10?
It's 150.
150% more. Wouldn't 150% more be 25?
No, because 100% of
you're
10.
Taking 100% of 10, which is 10, adding it to the 10.
And then 50.
And then 50, so
another 50.
25?
So it's 100% of 10 is 20.
What is 150% of 10?
Wait, whoa, I just confused myself. No, yeah.
You're right, okay.
Yeah. So 100% of 10 is 20.
Duh.
So then you cut that in half, right. It's 5.
Okay, duh.
So yeah.
Stupid moment.
No, I've always, I've had that as well because it confuses me a little bit when we get to bigger numbers.
Okay, so it has... So
150%.
150% more sodium in Coke Zero.
But still, it's 15 milligrams?
No, sorry. That was for easy math.
What does that have in it?
40 and then 65. No, 40 and then I just lost it.
I mean, it's still really, really 70, low sodium.
Yeah. Wow, so 100 and more. It's
still very low sodium.
It is, but still, I taste the difference. I think Diet Coke tastes better. But for some reason, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is healthier.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both good. Yeah. No, I was surprised in the taste test. I've always been able to tell the difference.
Nate botched the water test, by the way. Update.
Do we want to talk about this now? We can talk about it now.
We can talk about it now. Not that anyone cared the first episode, but we're going to do a...
Okay, I'll admit it. I'll admit it. Is that what you want?
I'll admit it too. I got very lucky.
Okay, water, it's dispelled. All water tastes the same.
Go again.
But the soda...
Back to the water.
No, I won't say it again. No, we have it on camera here. You can put your phone away.
You're right.
The water, but then
it was surprising.
It was very surprising.
I definitely got lucky. Only one I knew for certain, was the Deer Park or Deer Valley, whatever.
And that's the one that I got as well because you can tell.
No, you mixed that with the Smart.
Which one did I get right?
You got Fiji.
I think I got Fiji wrong because I was surprised at that one.
You're right.
I'm pretty sure I got the bad one right.
I think you mixed Smart Water with the Deer Park.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I think I missed the Smart Water. Yeah. But yeah, did we talk about this in the previous? Yeah, we put Smart Water, Fiji, Deer something. Mm-mm. What was the other one? Smart Water, Fiji, Deer, Dasani. And turns out they all taste very, very similar. Pretty much the same, identical.
I definitely got lucky and I got 100%.
100%, they all taste the exact same. Yeah. The soda, on the other hand, I've always been able to tell Pepsi versus Coke. In my mind, two completely distinct, separate things. But when you cover up the box and the bottles, I was really surprised how similar they all taste.
We'll include B-roll of that night.
That was a crazy
Some great
night.
Photos.
That was a crazy night.
To Tanner. No, it was. I knew, but yeah, this is a long riff about this
Diet Coke
subject, but I knew the Diet Coke from the Coke Zero, and then it was easy from there. I didn't know the Coke until I knew the Diet Coke and the Coke Zero. Because I drink Diet Coke and Coke Zero way more than I drink regular Coke.
See, I knew the Diet Coke and the Pepsi. Those are the two I got. And then I swapped Coke Zero and...
And we all agreed that Pepsi and Diet Coke were strangely similar.
Very similar, yeah. So we had Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Pepsi, and Coke.
Yeah.
I swapped Coke and Coke Zero.
I want to try Mexican Coke and Coke. Mm-hmm. We should do it tonight.
Get some of that Bolivian Coke, South American Coke. That stuff's crazy.
I'm a Coke Zero guy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, healthier.
Somehow.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah, stevia extract. Yeah, I guess they have to. There's no other flavor in there.
Yeah.
Everything else is color.
Well, Jacob, today I want to talk about something very related to this industry.
Great.
We're in the year 2025.
Yeah, we are.
Always evolving, ever evolving industry, which is good. You need to adapt. So we're going to talk about outdated practices that are currently still peeping their ugly heads in the industry. Now, of course, it's subjective. There are going to be outliers. There are going to be some outliers. You know, whenever we talk about some, there's always the Jay and Max.
Sure.
There's always the Justin Porters.
Always exceptions to the rules.
Correct. But
we're
for the
generalizing
vast majority of successful luxury, lovely, whatever market you're in, the vast majority of those videographers always have, you know, some things that are tried and true. And that's majority what we're speaking on today.
Sure.
So I'm just going to kick it off. If that's cool with you.
Hit me.
Okay. So I was thinking about these. The first outdated wedding videography practice, again, we're not talking the outliers, is trying to shoot everything in handheld because it's trendy.
Sure.
Or to make it look like everyone else, or Jane Mac, right?
Sure. Okay, so let's specify. And sorry, I'm gonna be very boring about these hot takes because I gotta cover the bases for the haters. Handheld. This take is about people who do handheld incorrectly. I'd say.
Correct.
Which I'd say it's most people.
Correct.
I say everyone who's trying to copy the guys who do it right, and J-Max is the easiest example. Aren't doing it the way J-Mac are doing it. And so it looks horrible, looks awful, looks like garbage.
Right.
Another good example is Richard Ney I think he shot Dallin's wedding handheld.
It was.
Great footage because he was shooting for handheld. But when I see a lot of people doing is just doing these small rigs and just kind of like quick handheld takes, and it's never long enough to really get a good shot. And yeah, what was the question?
I'm saying this is an outdated
Yes.
practice
Yeah.
trying to shoot handheld. I feel like
Yeah.
for a long time it was really trendy on social media where everything was handheld.
Yeah.
Everything was shaky and it was kind of like that
Yeah.
cinematic look
Yeah.
and like nostalgia.
Yeah.
I feel like that's already gone.
Yeah. But if you look at JMac's latest video with Geller Events that they just did,
Right.
it's still their handheld style, but it's smooth. It's clean. It's not like this. I think people use it as a crutch more.
I think so too.
I think they use it to think it's an easier way. Where I think after watching JMac and other handheld videographers do it, and we should have them on.
We should. We're still trying to
watch them do it. When I watch them do it in real time, which I have, I'm like, that is so hard.
Right.
Like that is a whole different style of filmmaking that I don't have the patience for.
Right.
Because you got to be, they're shooting in between breaths, right? Like they're holding their breath, they're putting it to their chest, they're putting it to contact, they're being very gentle. They're doing, it's a different, like nothing you do with gimbal work applies to handheld.
Right.
Except for maybe swing. But like even then, like you don't want to, if you're doing a long take swing, the way you do with a gimbal because you're doing slow motion, if you pull it back in the edit, it's just like this weird,
Yeah.
So like, I think it's a higher law of filming.
It
and
is.
no one does it right, except for the select few who are very popular for doing it. Yeah.
And I will say that when we first started Runway Vows, do you remember this? We first started Runway Vows. We had our C70s. We bought a bunch of mist filters, and we're like, dude, this is the beginning of an era.
Yeah.
This is going to be legendary. We're going to make this so cinematic.
Runway Vows,
and
the soft filmmakers.
Yeah. And we filmed a wedding, and we were filming it like Jay and Mac, just all handheld. And throughout the day, I remember us saying like, dang, dude, this looks so good. Look at this angle. Look at this. Look at that. And it was all those like shaky, like really cool looking.
Noonday with a quarter mist.
Yeah. And to be fair, some of those shots did look pretty cool, cinematic, but what people don't think of is you have to make an entire film.
Yeah.
And that was the issue we ran into. It's like, oh, all these shots look the same. They're all just this shaky, trying to be way too cinematic.
No variety.
There was no stable, there was no smooth push, and it was all shaky. Yeah. And so when you try to make a 7-8 minute film out of that, that's where it gets really dicey. Yeah. So you have to think about how you're shooting handheld.
I agree.
So that's practice number 1.
Yeah.
I think we got like, how many do we got here? 8.
Great.
Total. Okay. Next one. An outdated wedding videography practice is not incorporating audio into your wedding film.
Yeah.
Now let me get a little preface here because I thought this was mainly a Utah market thing because in the Utah market, it's a little different.
There is no audio.
a lot of wedding
in the temple.
A lot of wedding videographers start out doing LDS temple weddings.
Yeah.
There's no audio incorporated throughout. It's just a glorified music video, which is great for the market it is.
Yeah.
But then I went on YouTube, I went on TikTok and typed in wedding video and I was looking at really popular ones. I shouldn't say really popular ones because...
Well, dude, the film that got me into this was a music video.
Right. So they do have...
in France. Remember that? I showed you the blonde curly...
correct. Right.
Best wedding video I've ever seen.
Also very old.
No audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... but yeah, I went through and just watched all these videos and there was one that was relevant when I sorted it on YouTube and it had like 80,000 in the past month. No audio.
Yeah. And
you just see lips moving, but music and it's off.
Dude, I saw a video on TikTok. It was Trump walking someone down the aisle, maybe his daughter. I'm assuming it was his daughter, and it was a music video.
Crazy.
Yeah. Trump was down the aisle and it was just
like, a music video.
I could shot this in 2017.
Yeah.
No offense.
On your iPhone.
It was great.
Yeah. So I think that's a big outdated one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think and I think that's what Justin Porter preaches is that he's so sick of montages being prioritized over stories. And I think you can have montages. I love a good montage.
Who doesn't like a good montage?
But if it's sandwiched between rich story, that makes you feel for the couple and feel about who they are. Yeah, so I think always prioritize audio. Always prioritize those moments. I'm editing a film right now, and there's a few parts that they're not like, it's not like an audio bit, but there's a few parts where the groom just like is talking, and it's just like this. It's just emotional. One of my favorite films, Aaron and Garrick. We had the first look ready to go, and I was just had my camera on a monopod waiting, and I hit record, and I was just asked Garrick, I was like, "You excited?" And he just took a deep breath, and he's just like, "Man." he started going
He
off.
started
It's
telling
almost
the story.
emotional right before she walked up, and that's the intro of the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because those moments.
Because you didn't think that edit was going to turn out good. So you gave it to an editor and they're just like, do what you can. And they released a banger because of the audio and the A-roll.
It would have been a fine music video,
Yeah.
but it would have been half as long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in our coaching programs, both current and in the past, we always tell people from day one, from your first wedding, incorporate audio in any chance you get.
Yeah.
Vows, ceremony, the reception,
Yeah.
make sure to incorporate it.
Yeah.
And that's something we're really heavy on. Okay, the next one, I'm going to add a little appendix to this one as well, because I want your opinion. The next one is adding a text title template to the beginning of your wedding film. That is highly outdated.
Yeah, you should do that.
Because when you click on a wedding film and all of a sudden it's clearly just like the little flower heart with John and Sydney.
The story blocks graphic. Yeah.
It just devalues your film. Okay. So that I think most people can agree, but I wanted your take on this. The post-credit, Jake Weisler film, a Runaway Vows film, an ATN film, a Dallin Aldis film. What's the current meta on that?
I don't know, man. I used to always have it in the intro, Jake Weiser film, and then the title. I've since shut away from that. It felt a little vain, and it felt I don't know. No hate, but I think to put it at the end is way more appropriate. I think there's nothing wrong with once everyone's happy and like, oh, who did that video? Then there's your logo. But I think putting it at the beginning of your video is just a little vain and unneeded. Unless it's like you're like an artist and it's like the only person who I would say can pull this off really well is Philip White.
Right.
It's his style. It's like a little story. It's like Philip White Film Presents. And it's just like there's the couple's name. And I'm like, that's gorgeous. Like, I think it just works for him. I think you got to know when it does and doesn't work, because I think a lot of people think they want to be Philip White, they want to be like an artisan editorial cinematographer, but you're just not. And like we said about the handheld, like if you're not really shooting for that in mind, and like you pull up your edit and you're like, oh, make it cool. It's like, we didn't shoot it that way, so now that just looks weird. So I think save the titles for the end, save your name for the end. And as for the title, I just think like, what do you want to portray?
Yeah, what are you doing it for?
Yeah, like what's the point of a flowery opening title?
Right.
Have you ever seen that in Hollywood? No. Like if you want to charge more, which I think everyone wants to charge more, or at least be able to charge recurring, then create a timeless, stylized product that clients think is cinematic and worth investing in. And to me, that's just having a cinematic font that fades in and fades out.
Yep.
We sell them, you guys. We actually give one away for free. We'll link it below. It's a free. It's called our signature title font, because I was so sick of seeing videographers with Comic Sans or Impact Bold
or some template
at the beginning of their videos saying, "Here's a couple's name." I'm like, just make it look good. It's so easy, so easy. So yeah, we'll link all those below. But
yeah, I think in this case, simpler is better.
Yeah,
seriously, just text.
I just think it's better. Yeah,
the name of the couple, location, whatever. I might be mixing up conversations, but I swear we just talked to someone that said, don't even put it at the end. Like, just leave all your name off. Was it a planner? I feel like that was something we had a conversation about.
I heard about the beginning for sure.
Okay, I want to say it was at the end. I have to remember. I'm not remembering it right now. But yeah, I think that's a good point. Just, it's a little vain.
You're thinking about a kinetic. Someone said, a social media person said that if you have a logo at the end of your social media post.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of.
It decreases your engagement.
That's what I'm thinking of.
It's like flagged by Meta. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Kind of a fun fact for you.
Which was good to know. Yeah. I mean, because we've done...
yeah, it's like flagged with spam, so it decreases your engagement if you put a logo at the end of your video.
And it's good to know because
on Instagram specifically.
We've even done design reels for planners, and then we ask them for their logo, and the last shot is like their logo. Might be good to test out. Not doing that, And I mean, it's a reel, so it's meant to be just played over and over, so no need to put the logo there. Yeah. Great memory, by the way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Locked in. I know who takes my batteries.
That is a big fat lie.
An elephant never forgets. If you're needing an asset library to really help take your business and your films to the next level, Nate and I have spent the last few years really trying to build out a resource library for you of everything you might possibly need to really enhance your business and your skills as a videographer. And we're adding more to it every single month. So whether you want to enhance your film with light leaks or LUTs, or our best-selling wedding sound effects pack, which has over 120 sounds, from Foley to cinematic to transitions to beats, to our risers pack that we just released, or like we talk about in this episode, having better fonts in your videos, we have all of that available for you at crazy prices, always on sale. So if you're interested, head to runwayvows.com/education or scan the QR code in this video and use code RUNDOWN at checkout for 30% off anything you want. Again, runwayvows.com/education, scan that QR code and use code RUNDOWN for 30% off anything you want.
All right, next one.
Nate not correcting me that I'm not an elephant. Okay, cool. What are you saying? Go on.
Okay. The next outdated practice, filming everything in 60 frames per second as a wedding videographer.
Outdated.
Very outdated.
It's not the trend anymore.
Yeah. Wait, what? What'd you say?
So it's not the trend anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we love 60 frames. I think, again, my take is people don't know what 60 frames is for. I think they do it because they were told to, and they didn't ever learn like why you should be doing 60 frames.
Yeah.
And so again, if you're intentionally using 60 frames for what it's used for,
Yeah.
then it's so good.
Yeah.
But if you're using it because you just don't know how to shoot, you know? But how I was taught with 60 frames is like, it's just one of those things that's better to have.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know, oh, do I want to slow this down or not?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then just err on having it not slow down, or err on having it in 60 frames so you can if you need to. But then I think the beauty of doing it, you know, over the course of 8 years, like you and I have, is we know how our edits are going to look. We know what our style is, and we know there are parts of the day that maybe for a few years we shot those in 60 frames and then never slowed them down.
Right.
So we just stopped shooting them in 60 frames.
Yeah.
Location, B-roll, prep shots, first looks, anything with dialogue, usually the dance party, drone footage. Like we just have learned, oh, we never slow that down.
Right.
Let's just not slow it. Let's just not shoot that way. That way it looks better.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I think one of the reasons why people shoot in 60 frames, and this applies, I'd say, more to beginner and intermediates, is just straight up because they're afraid. They're not confident. And it's this mindset of, well, if I don't have enough footage, I can just slow everything down by 40% or to 40% or whatever. And it's going to fill up 8 minutes and I can just deliver that.
True.
And it's just kind of this crutch. You know, I did that. And when I first started, I'm like,
same.
oh, I need to shoot in 60 because, you know, if all else fails and I don't have enough, I can just slow everything down.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of beginners and I'd say intermediates can fall into. That's kind of a trap. So it's this sort of going to what you were saying, just not knowing how your edit's going to pan out. So if you do find yourself in that boat, first off, we've talked about it before, just don't stress, focus on the A-roll. Nail the A-roll, right? Get that ceremony, get those vows, get the really important, get all the speeches, get all the really good stuff that's going to tell the story. And then focus on your B-roll. And then soon you'll focus, and then soon you're just going to start, you know, realizing what you need to shoot in 60 and what you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and we also learned, we switched to 24 frames fully, and we learned that we were shooting in 24 frames, but we were still had the habits of 60 frames.
Right.
And so you go to edit that, and you're like, oh, frick, like it's not good, you know?
Jittery.
And same thing with the handheld. Like if you're shooting in 24 frames, you have to adjust how you're filming. Like it matters.
It does.
You know, you have to hold takes longer. You gotta be more steady. You gotta make sure you have the full, because you're gonna be in the editing room and you're gonna be like so used to being able to have more time, and you're not gonna have it. So
yeah, our current practice right now is we film everything in 24 frames. Yeah, everything in 24 except for bridals, something that's really portraits,
and then design.
Yeah. Yep. Design.
We want those in 60
portraits.
just as a backup for social media. Usually the planners want like a slow banner.
Yep.
And so we shoot everything in 60 for design and portraits.
Okay. The next outdated wedding videography practice, Jacob.
Easy rigs.
Well,
in my business
kind
list.
of. It's buying all the latest gear.
Oh, yeah.
Which I feel like easy rigs were kind of popular for a while. Like, wow, this is so cool.
They were big last year.
Yeah, big. It's stupid.
And yeah, it's
I love you, Justin.
you just don't need all the latest gear.
No, no.
You don't.
No.
Latest camera, all cameras now are more than capable of capturing.
They have been for 5 years.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. Like pre-COVID, if we would never have sold, I think actually the Level Up girls still use a 1DX2.
I know, yeah, Kelly does. I don't know about Taylor.
I don't either.
But yeah, 1DX2 for Kelly.
Yeah. And like you look at our 1DX videos and they're still timeless, you know?
They're still better than
And
ours.
I think since all lav mics became 32-bit, from there forward, don't need to upgrade.
Right. There's a lot of bells and whistles.
Yeah, you can argue like with that feature, this feature, but it's like at the end of the day,
It's how you use it.
I think people get so caught up on feeling like they got to be in the club and have what everyone else has. And that's what I hate about switching to Sony is I was worried people would look at us as like trying to join the club. It was like, yeah, we're updating, like you need to, but that was the last reason. Excuse me. Yeah, you just don't need it.
I would say a good example is the DJI Ronins.
Yeah.
I would argue they peaked with the RS2.
I love the RS2.
RS3, no one even remembers. RS4 is a good product.
I like the RS4.
It's fine. But I would say it peaked at the RS2, and then everything since has just been like, it's nice, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
The original Ronin is, we still know some people that use it, and it's fine. But the RS2 was great. No need to upgrade. If you feel like, I need the new RS, whatever. No, you don't. Drones.
Drone. I mean, drone's different because the sensors have always sucked and they keep getting better. So that might be the one exception for me actually is a drone.
Yeah.
Drone, I can tell quality difference.
Yeah.
Because it's just a crappy sensor. And they keep on making it better. But eventually, maybe in a year or two, I think the drone, maybe even the Mavic 3 onward, honestly, you're just kind of like, now everything else is like so pixel peeping. Like you have to really look for quality difference and maybe a few features, or it's like, yeah, you're fine.
Well, and that's the thing too. You might be pixel peeping, but are your clients?
No.
Are your planners? Most of them are not. They just care about how the deliverable looks like.
Yeah.
And most of that comes down to, do you have all the technique down?
Yeah.
Do you know how to use your stabilizer? Do you know how to color grade?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do all these things? And it's just so sad because I feel like we meet a lot of filmmakers that are stoked about spending $5,000 on something. And we're like, yeah, great. Like, that's awesome. But what you really want to say is, dang, like you should have maybe put that somewhere else.
Yeah. Like, for example, you could make a better product using 3 or 4 Canon SL2s.
Right.
Than you could with one FX3. Like, if you know what you're doing with multicam storytelling, you can make a much better product with more gear, cheaper, crappier, than going all in on just some big thing that you don't really know how to fully utilize. You know?
Yeah, I will say there's nothing quite as humbling as when you show up to some event and you're working with a luxury vendor, right? They've been doing it for decades. Let's say it's a photographer and they're charging $60,000, $70,000 and they have like an EOS R and you show up with all the latest gears of filmmaker and you're like, look at this. And they're just like,
cool.
Nice.
That?
Nice. That's good
Do
for
need
you.
That? Oh.
That's a pretty, should be a pretty.
They have the EF adapter. They're using EF lenses.
Right. And I mean, that's happened. And you just got to be like, dang, that's where you step back and say, do I really need all this stuff?
You don't. You just don't.
You just don't need it. Yeah, we have shot with photographers who use the EOS R.
Yeah.
And they're charging tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
EOS R is actually my least favorite camera Canon's ever made.
EOS R isn't, I don't like it as much either. But you can get the job done.
Yeah, it was not as good as the Mark IV.
I mean, from a video perspective. I don't know that much about the photo capability of it.
I just don't like it.
Yeah.
First of its kind, though.
Okay. The next outdated wedding videography practice is staging the first look.
Yeah, this one's a very hard one for me.
Maybe being too hands-on.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to be that way. I used to stop and pause. Let's redo it. Turn around. Let's redo the whole thing. And now I just don't care. I just am like, you know what? Let's just let them have the moment and then get on with the schedule. Move on. If we're going somewhere specific for a first look and it's like the day, like in Utah, you do that before your wedding day, then yeah, like let's have some fun after. But even then, I'm like, I just like we got the moment. Let's just film bridals or portraits. Don't need to like make it. Don't need the footsteps walking up in 80 different angles of her approaching. How about you just film the moment
as it happened.
Yeah, it's more about like, because like there's nothing worse than this crazy build up to, you know, all these angles and poses and different shots of the bride approaching just for the groom to have no reaction.
Right.
And you're just like, well, all that build up for nothing.
Yeah.
I hope you're hungry for nothing.
No, when it comes to the first look, I think it's fine. We do this. You do this. In fact, you did it very well. It went viral. Oh, you mean that little video?
Oh, you mean my voice?
I think it's fine when it comes to the first look. Before the whole moment has happened,
Yeah.
maybe give some direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's healthy. That's good. You know,
Sure.
just set expectations. Say, this is your moment. It's going to last however long you need it to. We're just here in our own world capturing it. Okay. I think that's fine. Did your camera just die?
No.
Okay. What is I'd say the boundary, and again, I've done this before, right when I was starting out, is when you're interrupting the first moment and the anticipation of it. Because when you have the groom standing somewhere and his back is turned and you have the bride approach once and you get one angle and you're like, okay, pause, reset, I'm going to get it again. You do it 2 or 3 times. It just kills the mood.
I used to do that.
I did too. I did too. I think even if you're a solo shooter, if you're really worried about it, set up a stationary camera on a tripod at the profile and then have your gimbal or whatever on, well, I guess either the groom or the bride. Probably the groom. I would err on the groom, but
I just think lean into being authentic, right? Like lean into these moments like being real.
yeah.
I think your film is so much better when you just like, you know what? This is how it was.
Right.
I'm not here to like make the day something it wasn't. Cause then the couple kind of like takes that moment and think like, okay, the videographer's gonna like tell us exactly what to do. And you don't want them to set that precedent. You want them to just kind of feel like they can just be who they are.
Yeah.
But if they feel like there's like a director on site and they're like, okay, well, the videographer has a very specific vision for this day. We gotta make sure he's taking care of it. It's like, I just don't want them to ever feel that way. You know?
Yeah.
Also, don't hit the table. I'm balancing my Coke. Pretty cool.
Wow, it's actually really, I don't know if I've ever seen that, if I'm being honest.
Pretty cool.
I guess this can also be a PSA.
Be great for like a clip because then people are thinking like, what the hell? Anybody knows the Coke bottle?
What? I think this is also a good PSA to both videographers and photographers. Let the moment breathe.
Yeah.
Because we have filmed many times, and again, not just putting this on photographers, because
mainly photographers.
If we're really being honest,
Just let them have a moment.
Let the moment breathe. You know, because you're letting this happen, and then if all of a sudden you jump in, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cute, kiss her, twirl
I'm
her.
obsessed.
Yeah, let's just
You're
cut.
not obsessed.
Let's cut it out. Just let it breathe. When the couple looks at
Shut
you,
up.
yeah, and when the couple looks at you, and if they're feeling awkward, then you can jump in. Great. Fine, but let it breathe. Please,
shut up.
Please.
Shut up.
It's not your time. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
I love first looks.
I do too. One of my favorite parts of the day.
Love them.
Okay. Second to last one here. And again, this is one of those where there's always going to be an outlier, but an outdated wedding videography trend, practice, is not filming the entire ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Stanton, this is for you, my guy.
Well,
Cody, I should say. Don't even know your real name. How many names do you have?
well, Cody pulls it off. Yeah.
He does.
He's the
well,
outlier.
again, I think he actually has like a camera in the back.
Does he?
I'm not sure.
Wouldn't
He
surprise
should. If he doesn't, he's a moron. No, the point is, I think, what are you filming for? And I hate this because people always say like, oh, they're getting like a 4-minute highlight. I'm like, well, you're leaving money on the table.
You really are.
Like what if the bride comes to you a week later and says, you know what? That ceremony was the best part of my entire life.
I want the entire thing.
Can I please have a ceremony? I'll pay whatever you ask. And you're like, oh, I actually just like film like little snippets.
Sorry about that.
You're just like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't get why you wouldn't. I think we have the capability to. I don't think the ceremony is a time to like really like focus on having like these cool cinematic pans and I'm just like, just capture what's being said. This is why we're here, right? Capture it. And the best way, in my opinion, to capture it is with 3 cameras.
Yeah, minimum.
Who roll the entire time.
The entire time. So you always have an angle that's not blocked
And then with your
or
4th
being
camera,
moved.
get those snippets.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I would say what you were saying is you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you don't film the entire ceremony because, you deliver a ceremony edit for a couple hundred or 1,000, whatever it is, whatever you price it at. That's number one. FOMO edit is very valuable. But the other option is I feel like most things that I see that go viral when it comes to wedding videos is like a vow or something that the groom said to the bride or whatever. And you don't know when those moments are going to happen. And when you capture those, they're just gold. They are social media gold. Yeah. And you can easily clip that, make it into a short form content piece, post it everywhere. You have the chance to go viral, lots of eyeballs, inquiries, money. You're just leaving it all on the table. If you're just hitting record, stopping, hitting record, stopping. I just don't get it. The entire thing.
Yeah, I don't get
all
it.
the way through.
Yeah, I've always had that. Even like my 2018, like when I was doing traditional ceremonies, I had a crappy camera as my SL2 in the back.
Yeah.
Or T2i, just capturing the entire ceremony. Because I just knew, like, what if they asked for the entire edit?
Man, the T2i.
Yeah.
Great camera.
Great.
Loved that camera.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Jacob, I've got the last one for you.
Hit me.
And I want you to really just lay into this crowd that does this, okay?
Easy rigs, hit me with it.
Okay, the last outdated.
You look ridiculous.
Stop it.
You can stabilize it without the easy rig. You're not Michael Bay.
You're a wedding videographer. Okay, an outdated wedding videography practice, Jacob, is delivering a whole client's gallery via Dropbox.
Yeah, I just think there's better ways.
Lots better ways.
Yeah.
And there's a debate whether it's VidFlow or MediaZilla or
if you get into a planner, sure. But like to a bride, like I just think like elevate the I believe that your experience that you offer the couple is what allows you to charge what you're charging. And if you want to be charging more and charging, upwards of maybe even 5 figures, it's not just about the wedding video. It's about the experience.
The experience you're giving them.
It's about, do they inquire? Do you respond right away? Are you a pleasure? Is your email professional? Are you responding quickly? Do you have a good signature? Are you dressed well on your website? Is your brochure like cohesive? Do you have good brand colors? And then are you professional on the wedding day? Do you over communicate? Are you a pleasure to work with? And then when you deliver it, like that's the same thing. That's the final taste in their mouth. The final palate cleansing moment of their experience with you is that delivery. And if it's just like, hey, here's a Google Drive link, which again, that's fine. It works, but there's a better way.
Right.
So it's like, no one's going to notice because they don't know what VidFlow is.
Right.
They're a bride.
Right.
They don't know. But all of a sudden you're like, hey, here's a private gallery.
Right.
The photographers already do this. Here's a gallery, custom to you, your name. The link is your name, right? vidflow.com/couple's name. Here it is for you. And then it's like this beautiful banner. There are names, the video's playing, there's folders. There's a download button to download all. And with Dropbox, you have to also upload a 4K and a 1080p version. VidFlow,
you just upload the 4K.
Download, mobile friendly, you know?
Just the 4K version.
So it's one of those things to me where I'm just like, there's such a better way and it's so easy. And people are like, oh, I just can't afford it. That doesn't make sense.
No, not at all.
You shouldn't be paying for it.
Build it into your price.
Yeah.
Make the clients pay for it.
That is a luxury by all means that should allow you to charge more. And AKA, that should allow the cost to be covered by your client.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw this back to a kitchen analogy. For our faithful listeners, when it used to be called the kitchen, we used to throw out some fun analogies for the parts of the kitchen that we did understand. Okay, but when a videographer delivers a video through a Dropbox link instead of like VidFlow or MediaZilla or something professional, okay, it's like you going to a restaurant. You spend
paper plate,
$100, $200 on a nice steak. Yeah, and they deliver on a paper towel, a paper plate.
Exactly.
It's just, you paid all this money, you're stoked for it, but then the delivery makes you question.
As good as the steak is.
As good as it is, there is that little bit in the back of your mind saying, a paper plate? A paper towel?
Dropbox is that paper plate.
It is. It is. Now, doesn't mean you can't do it.
Everything
there
we
are
do
some
is in Dropbox still.
Right.
As a backup.
Yeah, we always put things in Dropbox. And like if a planner has multiple edits, hey, here's the folder. Feel free to download at your leisure and use them as you want. But like the things that you were saying when it comes to the way that you deliver films, your email signature, how you dress, how easy you are to work with, those are slow burners. Those are the things that are going to honestly carry your business for another 10, 20, 30 years, whatever, because people know you, they know you're professional, they know you treat it like a business. It's not just a freelance side hustle hobby.
That's how it feels. I feel like Dropbox and Google Drive just make it feel like you're not really professional.
Right.
You already have a website.
Right.
I know some videographers who have like a portal on their website for clients. Like the clients
have to like
like Coke.
enter it.
Yeah, the clients can like log into like runawayvows.com and there's a gallery. Like I think it's Love and Lore do that. No, that's their pricing brochures.
I don't remember.
But yeah, anyway, I think
so.
all those things just like, and again, that final taste in your mouth, man, they want to refer their friends to you. And I think if they end on such a high note, all the more reason, you know?
I actually saw something saying, I think Pixie Set started offering video.
I did see that.
Did you see that?
VidFlow started doing photos.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, upgrade.
Build into your pricing.
Yeah. And VidFlow is really the only one I would recommend. There's others, but I love how customizable they are.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about MediaZilla to
I use them for a while, but I like VidFlow.
more customizable.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's kind of like that HoneyBook scandal when people are like, HoneyBook changed their pricing. I know VidFlow just changed their pricing within the past month or so, and people were in an uproar.
Still worth it to me.
It's still worth it. Build it into your pricing.
And again, like our margins for our wedding film profit didn't change as much when you divide it across how many weddings you're doing. It's not that big of a deal.
You know what I'm curious about?
Yeah.
All the people who said they were going to switch from HoneyBook during the HoneyBook
Andrew
scandal.
Guilford?
If they've actually switched.
Did you switch, Andrew?
Andrew, I am checking your website.
Andrew, you were the biggest
today.
advocate of switching, and I don't think you have.
I'm going to check it today. I'm going to inspect that page, inspect the HTML, and if I see a HoneyBook widget, it's over.
We actually do a post tomorrow in a Facebook group and just say, so who actually switched from HoneyBook? I'm so curious. And tag everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, do you have anything else for the followers, Jacob? Anything for the subs?
No. Could you please change your... Oh,
I did. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that was a timeline still.
No. I changed it. It took a while.
No, I think at the end of the day, you guys, these trends come and go, and don't take any offense to any of this. It's just like, if you do any of those 8 things... we're not saying you're bad. We're just trying to offer a better way. And also like some of those things, if you're in the minority who do it correctly, like handheld, 60 frames or whatever it may be, like just be confident. I think confidence in your style will trump everything. And I think there's so many good examples of that. People who are just confident in breaking the rules and it looks so good. John Dolan, like just confident in like doing their thing. And it works for them. So if that's you, let it work for you, you know. But have intentionality. That's all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And get yourself a Diet Coke.
Yeah, let us know if you
Coke
like
Zero.
Diet Coke or Coke Zero more.
I actually like Coke Zero more. No, Diet Coke, I mean.
I was about to say, you just threw me all
I like Diet Coke better.
full circle.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this episode, everybody. We will catch you chefs back in the rundown next week.
That was crazy.